The same Democrat that was clapping in Albany with Cuomo on the day of birth. The day of birth. Let's have a discussion about life. Let's put the baby on a table and we're going to have a discussion. So, yes, right to life is my number one issue. It's my number one issue. We're going to go ahead and we're going to repeal that disgusting law. These people are crazy and demonic. Absolutely. So, I have more petitions from the Queens County GOP. Photocopies, where they photocopy a petition and then they traced over it and put a different witness on it. This is actually sitting at the Board of Elections right now in Manhattan. This person works at the Board of Elections on behalf of the Queens County GOP. This is the way they're teaching. It's right here for everyone to view. All you want. I'm going to call them out. I'm going to work like there's no other. You've never seen anything like it. You're never going to see anything like this campaign. I've run campaigns for other candidates and they didn't listen to me. And they lost by 2 points or 4 points. This time I'm going to listen to myself and we're going to win this race. Just like John Sekulos did in 2020. In 2020, John Sekulos won this race on election day and got bumped with the absentee ballot because of voter fraud. Voter fraud begins at the petition level. If a candidate is doing this now, what type of fraud and bribery are they going to do later should they ever get into office and conform? This is an America First campaign. I will not apologize for January 6th. Everybody knows in this room, I went to prison for January 6th, and I don't apologize for it because I did it. Because if you think that Joe Biden got more African American votes than Barack Hussein Obama in Georgia, I got a bridge to sell you in Brooklyn. We're going to win this race. Philip, Philip, FOR assembly.com. Check it out, make a donation. We're going to win. We're going to win big in November. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, Phil Magaman. Okay, we have our final speaker, Brandon Castro, running for assembly in the 30th Assembly District. Brandon.
Is everyone having a good time today or what? Let's hear it, everybody. Come on. That's right. Well, I don't think I'll be able to follow Grillo here, but my name is Brandon Castro. Now, I've been here 2 years ago. Now, I previously ran for this very same seat. I ran for State Assembly, District 30, and I got around 40% of the vote. But now, it's an interesting year. It's an open seat now. The incumbent is no longer running. He wanted to run for a state Senate seat, which, funny enough, the guy that Grillo was also talking about also happens to be running for that seat on the GOP line, but I'm not going to go too much into that. But just know that I was out there as well, knocking on doors, and whenever people would knock on doors, I was going through the very same problems. You were to look at that ring camera, and then you see this. Who do you think it is? Richie Valens, Elvis Presley, or maybe it's like some type of salesman. So, but it helps that I had ran before. So there was a lot of people that saw my face, like, oh, Brandon, hey, what's going on? So it was very easy to collect. I was collecting with the county committee, a lot of my other friends and volunteers. The minimum that we needed was around 400. We got just a little bit over 900, and we were doing that whole month. But I wanted to do that. I wanted to make sure that we established that process early on so I could start the fundraising. We're at close to 60 people out of the 75 that we need for the matching funds. Back in 2024, I only fundraised close to $10,000. That's not very, very much at all. Sold at around 40%, knocked on 19,000 doors, got around 12,000 votes. This year, we're getting close to that 10,000 mark within the first month. We're going to easily get 20 to 30,000 by the time that June hits. The earliest we'll be able to get any bit of matching funds will be July, and by then we'll have $150,000 to $200,000 raised, and we'll be very well off for whichever one of the three Democrats that happens to win that seat. To be honest with you, I don't care who wins that seat. they don't have as much of an impact in that part of the district as much as I do. Now, I've already been endorsed by a Democrat, by former council member Robert Holden, who also is a powerhouse in Maspeth, where I also happen to live. Now, I'm the only one of the 4 candidates who's been endorsed by anybody, let alone a Democrat. But we've been very well connected for many years there. I've helped out multiple other candidates, multiple other campaigns from both parties, but only ever the conservative and the common sense candidates. And that's been able to help me out so far. Being endorsed by former council member Holden, day one. As soon as that seat was announced, it was an open seat. Bob said, didn't care who the other Democrats were. I've been there for a while now. I've helped out many of the others, and I was endorsed day one. But now we have a really, really good chances here. You know, if I had knocked on 19,000, got around 12,000 votes back in 2024, we're going to be knocking on 50,000 doors. You can just do the math yourself. We have a very good chance. Not only do I have the demographic edge, it's a 32% Hispanic district, but there's a lot of other multiple groups over there. And those groups, they care about a lot of other different types of issues. You know, I don't think many people are happy with how the mayoral race turned out the last year, right? I don't think anyone is. But there's a reason why he got won. People can call it a mandate, all that they want. He got 50.3%. Usually the Democrat gets around 70%. They get around 60% margins. And his approval rating is sitting at 48% now. So that means half of the city is split. Half of them are not. And it's very sad to say that the people my age, I'm only 26 years old, by the way. I graduated from college back in 2023, and I ran for office as soon as I had graduated, and I think I did fairly well. But there's a reason why people voted. When you looked at the other 2 candidates, regardless of who you happen to vote for, did they speak about how crazy it is to afford the cost of living? We cannot buy a house. And what my campaign is trying to address here, one of my campaign slogans, I think I have some of my signs around, to grow skills and jobs. What many people are lacking now, whether they're graduating from high school, whether they're graduating from college, is that they cannot find jobs. Not only is it very hard for us to compete with people who have been there for a long time, competing for the job market, trying to buy a house, family, taxes, we are down here. And I'm speaking on behalf of Generation Z, being the only Gen Z candidate running in the entire city this year for an assembly race. But growing skills and jobs, that means providing people with the necessary skills to actively compete. That's an education reform platform. That's something that people have been talking about for a long time, but the Democrats have not been able to, they haven't really been able to do anything about it. We spend the most amount per kid, and when is that actually getting us? There's a lot of people my age aren't graduating with the skills that they need to actively succeed. So what I am actively pushing for is vocational training, career development programs. I actually went to a vocational high school. I did computer science for 4 years. That's all I knew. That's not what I wanted to do. I had to move, I had to talk, and this is what I was born to do. And so this guy is what brought me here today. But I went through vocational high school for 4 years. Many people didn't have the very same privilege, didn't have the opportunities to do that. So we want to grant that opportunities, whether they're my kids, the future generation. We're being left behind right now, and people aren't talking about it. And the only one that was able to do that, very sad to say, I did not vote for Zoran, but he talked about it. So if our party, if our candidates do not start to step up now, if we're just always saying no to this, no, 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 and that list is endlessly, we're never going to win. If you were to remove New York City from the whole state, this is still a blue state. And we're in a midterm year now, where if any candidate wants to be completely honest with you, there's a lot of people voting against Trump, but we're in the city. I'm in Queens. There's a lot of people also voting against the socialism. So what we need is a pathway forward. So that pathway forward is to grow skills and jobs, building smart and safe infrastructure. Everybody wants to talk about housing. What about the infrastructure? What about the delays that we have waiting for the school buses, waiting for trains? What about the flooding? What about our stormwater systems? That is the conservative approach that we need. If we don't have a positive vision going forward, that's what my campaign is all about, by the way. If we don't have that positive vision, then say goodbye to this entire city. Say goodbye to Queens. And I encourage every single one of your help. I have my contribution cards. If you can donate to me, and if you know any friends or family that happens to live in Maspeth, Woodside, Jackson Heights, or Elmhurst, their contribution gets matched times 10. The first $50 times 12. I know I can win this year. I am going to win this year. We're building up the independent Democrats, the independent conservatives who don't have a say in either of their major parties. That's our pathway to victory. We're going to be doing the coalition building. I have the results to prove it. I have the backing to prove it. And there's a lot more coming out here that you haven't seen yet. But please, I encourage every single one of you, support me, support the candidates that we also have here today. But that's a positive vision going forward. And who can? Show them the sign. Castro can do it. We can do this, everybody.
Who can? Castro can. Okay. Now we're going to have the question and answer session. We have about 20 minutes for it. These candidates